I hope you're as excited about that as I am.
So that's where we're at.
Welcome, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the
stream.
The World 12 announcement stream. I hope you enjoyed the video. And we're going to do some stuff here. First things first, I'm going to go to the tube. I'm going to set this thing to public.
So there you have the trailer.
So there's the trailer on the YouTube channel. Should be there now. So we should be good with that if you want to see it again. And second thing is I'm going to move the little file to from here. Move that file. And I want to place it right here. Boom. And momentarily, we will be posting the preliminary changelog for World 12. We've been working now for the better part. We've been working for a good time, which is kind of the reasons why the patches have been smallish lately. Is that we've been kind of secretly building up for this for the better part of the year, at least since we got back after the Christmas holidays and such. I hope this sound and audio is good for everyone. Tao Munu asks, how old is World 11? World 11 was launched in February 1st. February 1st even. It was a nice even date.
Yep.
And so it's a bit more than 1 year.
Yep.
But roundly 1 year.
Which is less than World 10, but certainly a lot more than many Haven Worlds.
Exactly. And so what we're going to do for the next couple of hours is that we're going to post the changelog in a moment here, and then we're going to go through it. And it's the preliminary changelog, and there are several changes in there that are bound to be fairly controversial, I'm sure. So we're going to have an opportunity to talk about those, and keep in mind that the launch date that we have set is the Friday, March 6th, which is in somewhat less than 2 weeks.
Yes.
And
a wee bit off, nevertheless.
Yep. But around 2 weeks, and we have so there's still time. If you're not satisfied, if you don't find that these changes reflect your hopes and ambitions and dreams for the new world, then by all means give us a shout out on the forums or on the Discord or just about anywhere, Facebook, anything. And so there's a lot to comment on and look at, so perhaps we just start
dive right into
it. I'm gonna go ahead and post this and just preview it first. There we have the video and everything, and boom, posted. So there you have the prelude thread for the trailer. 30-second advertisement says, "Jorb, you money hunger cuck, you haven't fixed any of the broken shit." If you point me to the broken shit, then I'll try to fix it. Volume is super low, says undefined.
Is that so?
That's so.
And we even tried to
turn it up. So I don't know. Maybe I should just tune it up a little bit more. You'll get the behind the scenes OBS nonsense. I hope this works. Maybe 250.
Try that, perhaps.
Boom. There you go.
Not sure if that makes a difference.
Not sure if that. Yeah, exactly. Not sure that makes any sort of a difference for you. But yeah. All right. So here we go. You have the thread there. You can. All right. Already some comments starting trickling in. Okay. So first off, going through the reasons for making a world reset are pretty much the usual.
Yeah,
I would say. The world has built up a fair amount of cruft over the course of the year, in that we reworked several core kind of systems for, primarily perhaps pertaining to character development and those types of things, and also
the food system, not least.
Yeah, food system, exactly.
And it would be nice to see how that functions from the start of a fresh world.
Exactly, and also, I mean, when we change a system like that, we are bound to introduce imbalances in terms of players who played under the old system and players who played under various systems. And the food system has gone over like I don't know how many adjustments we've done to it, but it's
It's a couple.
It's a couple at least over the course of the year. So that's one of the primary reasons for making a world reset. Another reason is, of course, that we have over the course of a world, we build up a list of changes that we want to make or things that we want to address, but that that we
can't really do without a reset.
Can't do without a reset.
Yeah.
And as always, we also take the opportunity to fiddle with map generator and change various things in the disposition of a new world. So this is an opportunity for that as well. Introduce some new lit content for y'all. Yeah, boom, let's dive into it. Preliminary changelog. Some changes to the map generator. We fixed a bug with Galena being everywhere on the lower cave levels. It was omnipresent down there, so that should not be a problem anymore. The map generator for World 11 spawned some enclosed oceans, which we transformed to sweet water. So effectively, there were sweet water oceans.
Yeah.
And those should now be filled in with proper terrain.
Especially the what would you call that? The rocky beach tiles.
Yeah, exactly. The archipelago beach tile.
Yeah, the archipelago tiles, and they couldn't really be reasonably removed that way, so they should be gone for real now at least.
Exactly. And also, all continents now have persistent IDs. So all continents generated by the map generator will have an ID that we can look at internally when issuing quests and such. One of the complaints with Credo quests, Nomad quests, is that they could send you on a hike to other continents and such, and that we haven't actually fixed that yet. But it's something we could have the ability to fix now. So and also caves could be placed in staircase ridges, where there are tight like ridges on top of ridges on top of ridges, and a cave in a situation like that couldn't be entered, and that's something that we've now fixed. So you should now be able to enter those. Then Siege. This is a big one.
Yeah.
We made a pretty big change to how claims work. And in addition to the normal authority upkeep, they now have a power level, which ranges from 0 to 5.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can read, but we'll go through it. Increasing the power level of a claim is initiated by clicking a charge button in the claim interface. So there's a button.
And this goes for villages as well.
Yep, this applies to both villages and personal claims. And once you click that, once you initiate a power level increase, there will be a 24-hour delay, a notice period, where other people can take note of this change. After 24 hours, there is an 8-hour weakness window, during which the claim's power level counts as 0. After the 8-hour period concludes, the claim's power level is increased by 1. So you would then, level up 1 tier in the power level of the claim. And also the claim loses 1 power level over the course of 2 real-life weeks.
Yes.
And the power level of a claim is then used to determine how long battering rams need to drive before they can attack the various wall types on the claim. And then we have a list of drawing time for battering rams per power level and wall type. So if you have a level 0 claim, a new fresh claim,
or a claim currently charging.
Exactly. Then you palisades, a battering ram would need to drive for 20 minutes in order to attack a palisade, or 1 hour to attack a brick wall. Level 1 palisades would take 3 hours of charging for the battering ram. Brick walls would take 4. Level 2 palisades would take 6 hours. Brick walls would take 8. Level 3 15 20. Level 4 24 32. Level
Which is
5,
where we are currently.
And then, yeah, exactly. Levels 4 and 5 are where we're at currently. So also this implies a change to how villages and personal claims interact with one another. If a village and a personal claim overlap, the village claim's power level always counts, and villages can no longer extend their authority over claims with a power level of 1 or more, unless the owner of the claim is either a founding father of the village or a member of the village. Make sense? Think so? And villages can now also revoke the privilege of any personal claim overlapping the village claim by any amount. This is a bit
This is a big change compared to how revocation used to work, where they basically couldn't revoke a claim that was older than the village.
Exactly. There was a mechanic, but it was kind of obscure.
But now instead, if they do overlap, they can always revoke the claim. It's just they cannot come into overlap with claims that have a non-zero power level.
Exactly. So you cannot extend your village claim over someone else's personal claim unless they consent to that. And the power level and charge status of a claim can then be gauged by inspecting the claim.
Yeah.
So you can walk up to it, use the looking glass or the little, what do you call it, magnifying glass, and inspect the claim. You'll find out the charge stats. Okay, so why did we do that? The idea here is to implement siege windows, basically. And siege windows is an idea that has been floated a lot of times when we've been talking about siege and such. And the idea is basically that there's you as the owner of a claim have to set a window during which you're willing, declare yourself willing to be there and defend it, kind of. And there's a lot in this that could be discussed, times, etc., if it's even a good idea, blah, blah, blah. But
obviously, this is an idea that has been suggested many times.
It's been suggested repeatedly when we talked about siege in various forums. People have suggested, okay, there should be a siege window. I should be able to, set a time when I'm, willing to defend the claim and blah, blah, blah. So this is our take on that.
Indeed.
And the side effect of it is that we want there to be one of the things that's kind of bothered us is that it's really easy to establish a new claim, and this would make it more difficult to establish a new throwaway claim because it would give claims a kind of charge up time before you can actually
before they fully defend themselves.
Exactly. So very eager to hear your thoughts on that. If you don't like it, then it's certainly not too late to scream bloody murder about it. So give that some thought and let us know what you think about it. Okay, so combat, another pretty big one. For melee and unarmed combat, fighters within a factor 2 of each other in relevant stats are, for all intents and purposes, considered to be exact equals.
Exactly, and this refers to the combat values themselves.
Exactly. This means that if you have, say, 400, you would be equal to someone who has 200 or someone who has 800 in the relevant values.
Exactly.
And the idea behind this change is to make it so that combat stats are less relevant in combat, but so that there's still a significant incentive to actually increase the combat values. And so it's a pretty easy idea. Could you please zoom out just a little bit on your screen? It's very blurry. Could I zoom out? I could probably zoom out. Does that make it better for you? Does it mean zoom in, maybe?
I could only assume.
I'll try that. Try that out for size. See how you feel about that. I'm not sure that makes it any better. But you can go to the forums and read it for yourself if you like to. So, yeah. Also, the gains outside of this factor 2 range increase more steeply.
Yeah, exactly. To compensate the scaling outside of that window is more steep than previously.
Yeah. So the intention behind this change is to reduce the reliance on stats in combat significantly. I think one of the problems that we've kind of identified and talked about a lot is that stats are, or have been, too relevant for combat.
A little too important.
And this has several unfortunate consequences, such as, for example, forcing people to grind very heavily in order to stay in the game at all, and et cetera, et cetera. So now, for example, you would only need 800 to be able to compete with someone who has 1600. So
in theory, at least. I mean, there are still other factors, of course, like strength and constitution.
Exactly. So this doesn't apply to agility. It doesn't apply to strength, constitution. It doesn't do anything with combat gear. So there's still several areas where you can level up and be relevant. Jorb, can you fucking turn up the volume? Holy shit! I don't know. This did nothing. Try it again. Boom.
It kind of looks like that doesn't change anymore. maybe this time.
I think it does change something. All right, we'll try that. Hope that feels better. Too loud. Too loud. We can hear you. All right. Should I turn it back down? Let me know how you feel about it. I could turn it back down if you want.
Well, the guy who complained about it apparently had been smoking weed for the whole day, so that might be the reason.
Might be the reason, yeah. So yeah, this combat change could potentially also be controversial. Feel free to let us know how you feel about it. Okay, realms. Sea marks are now normal authority objects, spreading realm authority in an area around them. They can be built even on deep ocean tides.
So they don't just teleport realm authority from one continent to another.
Exactly. And yeah, I don't know what to say about that. That's what the change we made. We're sticking to it. LP and gains. Scholarly accounts now factor in the size of the curiosity which they described when determining their final LP. You may only study one scholarly account at a time. So that's a bit of a nerf to scholarly accounts because they've been kind of overpowered. Another nerf to Ageless Ice, which now halves the remaining study time of all curiosities being studied rather than completing them. I think it's fair to say that we've seen Ageless Ice being used for various untoward purposes, spawning alts and, giving them LP out of nowhere to make them able to construct mine homes and blah, 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 blah. So I think this is effectively it's a contemplation and meditation for your entire curiosity window or study report. So that should still be fairly good, but not perhaps as broken.
Hopefully.
We applied a gain curve to the gains from dungeon reward heart containers. Effectively, the final HP gain is now subjected to a square root. So,
like the initial heart container you get still give you 10 extra HP, but after that it scales slowly downwards.
Yeah. So you'll be seeing diminishing returns from collecting infinite heart containers. I think it should be fairly incontroversial. Truffles have been made less potent. We talked a fair bit about truffles, and it's kind of foraging is a kind of bad mechanic, perhaps. It might be a bit harsh to say that, but
it does have its problems at least.
It lends itself very well to botting, and the truffle discovery mechanic is perhaps not. In theory, it sounds like fun that pigs dig up truffles and whatever, but in practice, I don't think people find it too engaging to be out walking their pigs and walking pigs online. So yeah, that's a good change, I hope. We reworked the meteorite qualities a little bit. They shouldn't be as high, but still high. We increased this is arguably a buff to everyone. We increased the potential recoup from a deceased ancestor's stats by 15% through ancestral worship, putting the total possible recoup at 60% of a dead character's stats. Full burial still gives 30%, and a state funeral still gives 45%. But any character can now reach up to a full 60% through ancestral worship. I don't know. We just felt like trying that, I suppose.
Yeah, kind of. No real reason.
Okay, another big one. Quality. Hammer and anvil qualities no longer provide a positive influence on metal quality when pounding wrought iron. This effectively removes most of the metal spiraling.
Well, that is perhaps a somewhat controversial change, but I think most people seem to agree that metal spiraling was no fun.
Yeah, I think my takeaway from listening to feedback and such has been that it lends itself to botting, and people just run mine bots, which produce tons of cast iron and blah 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 blah. So metal spiraling should mostly be gone. Also, all crops have a local quality field now, which caps their quality growth.
Yeah, which is perhaps also a somewhat controversial change.
It is somewhat controversial. This is so basically in any given area there will be a level beyond which you cannot naturally level up your crops any further. So this level is set high enough that it shouldn't matter for months, hopefully. But,
exactly.
It's still there. But are we having some stream issues here?
Are we haven't had some issues indeed. Seems like we're having some web issues.
Anywhere? I think we're getting somewhere.
Maybe.
There you go, I'm back there. Can you hear us?
Check OBS.
We're still streaming and recording.
Pretends to be streaming at least.
Claims to be streaming. Stop streaming, stop recording. Could I... Oh, reconnection successful.
There we go.
There we go. Are we back? Back. Finally. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about crops and how they have a local quality field.
Yes.
So again, I don't know where we cut out really, but crops have a local quality field. You cannot grow your crops beyond that quality field, but crops will also not
diminish in quality.
This means that you could potentially trade for higher quality crops, grow them at your own base, even though the quality field there is technically lower, but the crops won't lower in quality. So we felt that was a pretty good, struck a perhaps nice balance. I think one of the reasons we did this is that we've kind of found it a bit dumb how crops will, just increase in quality endlessly.
Boundlessly, indeed.
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean, no other quality mechanic in the game works like that.
No.
So it is a bit strange.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. So it's the only kind of... yeah.
And to be sure, if we feel that we need to lessen the impact on that mechanic, there are ways to do that, perhaps not implying removing that whole mechanic, but rather, local quality buffs or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of things we could do with, with realms or with, local quest givers increasing the local quality field or blah, blah, blah. I just think this mechanic has, more future windows of future development and all kinds of good stuff. So I think it's generally just better.
Hopefully.
Okay, did we cut out again? Or we're just not online here?
I don't think we've cut out. My monitor works.
It works on my computer. Let's see if it works here. Okay. Boom. Snapco. Can quest givers still be cut down? Yes. Colsey TV. Thoughts on using herb tables to increase wheat barley qualities? I could certainly see a mechanic like that. No real...
What would that even mean, though? I mean...
He's imagining some process for spiraling crops, effectively, like, placing them on the herbalist table and throwing,
Perhaps. Who knows?
Yeah, and fixes. Angling with fishing poles should now yield more consistent rewards, and locally rarer fish should be more of a prerogative of casting rod. Or fishing nets. Casting rod fishing, or nets. Pretty much what it says on the tin. I think basically the feeling we had was that the normal fishing angling pole just
gives everything.
Yeah, every potential fish. It already exists. Noobs. They don't know. What already exists?
It's probably referring to something else in chat, who knows?
We'll see. Zonzon says, since metal spiraling was a main economics engine, will you create some other spiraling mechanics with material sink instead? I think generally, I think it's a good argument that the game could use more sinks. I don't think pushing quality has been, the best outlet for the best sync imaginable. So I agree that there should be more sync. Also, we buffed the base damage of both hunters and rangers bows. So that's pretty much it for the changelog that we have to present to you tonight. That is pretty much it. So yeah, awesome, good stuff.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Feel free to let us know how you feel about that, and we will take your feedback into consideration and try to go from there, basically. So without further ado, let's I guess take questions and jump.
I think random scrolling up and down is not really the best stream content.
It's the best stream content there is. I'm going to show you my base now because it doesn't matter.
That's the tradition.
That is the tradition indeed. So this is where I settled down, and I haven't maintained this base since like January, since we kind of committed to the world reset. And we've had a bit of a horse explosion here since then, but apparently they're all still alive and well. So plenty of opportunities to come and raid me. I had a fun interaction. I found this little lake pretty much at the start of World 11, and Tokmik says, will there be any new terrain features in World 12? Yes, there will be. We'll be working with the map generator, so there will be new things to discover. This is not an exhaustive changelog by any means. Zented69 says, are lower cave levels getting real content in World 12? Who knows? Who knows what might be down there? Boom, boom, boom. Fat Funny Valentine says, I'm not a hardcore player at all, and as a farmer I want to say I really appreciate all the homesteading content you put in your game. Where else can I make over 30 cheeses and castrate my cows to use their balls and recipes? Thank you. Exactly. Hayden providing some unique content for the masses there. Thank you for that comment, Fat Funny Valentine. That was very kind of you to say so. I like to think that we have a fairly unique environment, and I'm fairly excited to give it a go with the new world. So, any thoughts on World 11, Loftar? How do you feel about World 11 and the development of it?
What am I supposed to answer to a sudden question like that?
I don't know.
Me neither.
You've given it no thought?
Nope.
Okay. This is why we have this man on stream, boys. I think there were several things in the kind of gave the world, not the best start that it could have had last world.
Yeah, for sure. I think there are many good reasons why we have iterated on the food system.
Yeah, I think the food system was. I don't even off the top of my head recall exactly what the disposition was at the beginning of World 11. What system were we using then? We were really hard satiations, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the previous iterations were before we individualized the satiations. But yes, the satiations were quite harsh.
Yeah, and it wasn't where it needed to be. So basically, people were. I think one of the things that kind of hampered the game was that people weren't able to eat as much as they wanted to, which may caused the kind of production to stall a bit. In that people, you build up a huge base and you produce more food that you can reasonably eat, and that's not perhaps where the game should be. And I mean, speaking of sinks, I think food should be one of the primary kind of sinks in the game.
Indeed.
For that reason, I think it would behoove the characters to be able to eat a lot. And
hopefully it is possible to eat more now.
And it is possible to eat more now, indeed. And that was certainly not the beginning that was certainly not the case at the beginning of World 11.
Indeed.
Mighty Sheep says, am I getting PM'd or is that your Discord? That is my Discord, I think. So, Cozy TV says you can put a Q10 wheat barley on a Q200 herb table and jump like 50 Q at a time. It'll keep increasing until you meet the Q of the herb table. Germinated wheat barley. It would basically cuck your new farm quality ideas.
Would it? I mean, without the flax quality or whatever to build the herb tables, how would you even get a higher quality herbalist table than the crops you are?
Yeah, I mean that's one aspect of it, and it's certainly one. Yeah, show the stats. Yeah, I can show you my stats. There's nothing impressive at all. Meager noob stats. Haven't even bought the recently added skills. I haven't even bought vandalism. Jeez, I'll buy them now. I'll buy it all if I can afford it. But I can. Oh, no, all the skills. Shows you're really not on your life. But yeah, it was. I had always had the intention to build a Knar and sail on my little lake that I built the
base round.
The base round. Toolsia says yes. If metal spiraling is removed, you can't get a massive Q metal saw to make really high herbalist. Exactly. So I don't know. Also, I don't, if you can get a higher quality, wood quality would be over the string quality. With compost and composting high quality animal meat, you can still get pretty huge, high quality tables. Yeah, but I don't mind, Like,
I mean, animal meat quality is also capped by the food they eat.
No, I think he means mammoths and such.
No,
wild animals.
Sure enough, but I think the farming caps are generally higher than mammoth qualities anyway.
Yeah, sure. No, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Also, I don't. The idea is not necessarily to prevent you from leveling up your crops.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, if you can do that, I think maybe more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
Robertson is awfully curious about something he imagines having seen in the video, but we'll simply have to wait and see what that portends for the future. Can't give everything away. Zented69 says, can we get Forbidden Spice access for the first couple of months of World 12?
Forbidden Spice access?
I don't know what that means. Artemis WHB says, roughly what caps can we expect? 500, 1K, 2K? I
think you'll have to see.
Yeah, I think you'll notice. Donatokas Coastal TV says, I get that, but do you want one quality crops to be dramatically higher than other crop qualities, or are you hoping for it to be more evenly distributed? I don't mind if there's a distribution over the various crops where some of them are generally available in higher quality than others.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. Okay, guys, what is Haven missing from other MMOs to be more popular and more fun, depending on what fun means to you? For me, fun means where you can play game for as long as you want to without getting bored. Yeah, that would be ideal. So, and I hope, the reason I suppose that we're constantly kind of iterating on the siege and on the various mechanics for player interaction is that we kind of hope that could be
player interaction.
My politically correct way of saying noob murder.
Yep.
And the point basically being that we're kind of hoping that could be a driver of endgame content. So.
Yes, exactly. I think it is fair to say that a goal that we have for Haven is to make the political landscape more dynamic.
Yeah.
Whatever that means in the end, mind you, I'm not exactly sure, but nevertheless, I don't think that it is totally sound that everyone just settles in and besieges themselves behind their walls and never touches anyone else. That's not necessarily to say that this mechanic that we have implemented now will fix that forever.
Yeah.
And in a perfect manner, but that is what we're trying to work towards.
Exactly. So basically, yeah, we want there to be more conflict, and I think conflict could be a driver around game content. And I think, I don't know, I've kind of felt that Legacy probably still had more staying power in that department than New Haven has. It seems to me that the PvP scene was always more lively there.
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely sure why, though I could speculate, but the combat system was perhaps still better.
That is certainly possible.
Various other things in the disposition as well. You had the tradition change slider, and arguably that's one of the reasons why we made it so that why we increased the potential
inheritance
gap. The inheritance. Yeah, exactly.
That being said, though, the 45% that we currently have is what Legacy also basically has. So there's that.
But maybe then you couldn't perhaps grind up your stats quite as much in Legacy. I don't think you can quite reach the levels that you can reach here. Yeah, I mean people had like I don't know what people had in Legacy. So several questions about Credos. Do you ever plan on changing Misty Credo to not be a false difficulty? Currently, you get quests with no seeming curve to it other than the only difficulty is that you need to wait X days to trigger an event again because you had it the previous day, making it arguably take the longest to achieve over the other Credos. Instead, would you consider changing it, taking into account player existing timers so there is a maximum wait per event of 1 or 2 days?
That doesn't sound like the solution, at least, if there is a problem.
Yeah. I could argue that, what Loftar said. I don't think the proposed solution is the solution, but maybe there is a problem with the Mystic Credo not being, maybe, the experience quests aren't the most fun and engaging, but at least they are, somewhat peculiar in how you trigger them. So, I don't know. I don't hate them myself. Also, you can always, abandon the quests and try rolling for a new one, so there is that mechanic as well. Phalanix says, any plans to change Credos? Seems stupid to have to do hundreds of quests to get Credos, even the old system with rest on death.
Rest on death?
What do you mean by rest on death? Phalanix, not sure what you mean by rest on death. But yeah, no, Credos is certainly a thing, and we could certainly, I don't know, I think we should at least talk through Credos for the new world.
Certainly.
More than we have, because one observation I made after the last world was that it wasn't kind of fun to go through the Credos, again, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
So I certainly agree that there's probably some room for improvement there with how the Credos work. Donatakas 1994. What are devs' hopes and plans for the Haven content-wise in 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years, like features and so on?
Good question for sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, there are obviously problems with the game that we have to some extent identified, but it is less clear what the proper solution is. And then with regard to some of these problems, I'm kind of beginning to feel that we've tried like 5 different solutions and none of them have really stuck.
What are you thinking about more specifically?
Good question, perhaps. I mean, things to increase player interaction and decrease autarky and things like that.
Sure. I think, syncs being more of a thing, and the content not stalling after a certain amount of time. I think the longevity feels like it could be better still. Though I think
it does kind of suck that to some extent we feel we have to make map resets every now and then.
Yeah. So because people run through the content and but there's also the fact that a new world is kind of exciting.
Yeah, certainly, but arguably the game should be that exciting all the time.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, that would be the best. So, but content-wise, otherwise, I certainly have several things that I would like to, like one of the things that I would really like to do is longer term is to increase the rendering distance so that we can have like a skybox and where you can actually see the contours of the mountains and the horizon and stuff like that. That is one of like my kind of dream far-flung goals for the game.
For sure, there is also the whole object-controlled objects thing.
Yeah, object-controlled object is, and that is, at least pretty high up on my list of things that we should do recently. As usual, you can see my base is a complete mess. Just random yank everywhere. Where? Didn't mean to do that. Giddy up. Giddy on up. So, yeah, object control objects. And I think we're kind of getting to a point where we could perhaps actually work on that.
Yeah, sort of at least. I mean, the new client is getting closer to release for sure.
Yeah, and that's also a thing. If you're a custom client developer, then you might want to start looking at the new client, because we're at least, we're not really there yet, but when we are,
it would be nice to be able to switch as soon as possible.
Yeah,
and I mean the architecture, so to speak, is pretty complete.
Yeah.
So any work done shouldn't be invalidated during the course of further beta testing.
Exactly. So yeah, and after that, I think object control object is pretty high up on my list of things that I would like to see for the end. As we've talked about that for a long time. I think the biggest thing that we accomplished this world was arguably seasons, and still some people not too excited about the actual content of the seasons, and I could certainly see a case being made for that. There's still more work to be done in terms of improving the various, especially the non-summer seasons, like winter, arguably perhaps most egregiously so. But Dakan says, what is the content of the seasons? Well, there are various, in terms of animal spawns and
differentiated herb spawning, indeed.
Yeah, exactly. And, there's snow in winter. There are a couple of leaf piles and stuff in summer and fall. That being said, I mean, one of the, I think the graphical outlook change is also one of the kind of primary features in and of itself.
To be sure.
The value of Haven as a walking simulator is not zero to me, so I enjoy walking to
exactly.
Hopefully somewhat beautiful landscape. But Eden234 says, any new dungeons? Maybe. Well, who knows? But
we have been talking about it lately, so perhaps.
Yeah. The only problem with the dungeons is, I suppose, that they are fairly content intensive.
Yeah,
in terms
it takes quite a bit of time to make a new dungeon.
Yeah,
and
because you need the
well, I mean, to be sure, the more dungeon types there are, the more the diminishing returns in adding new ones.
Yeah. But there are several dungeons that should be made, and I think,
to be sure, we certainly have several dungeon ideas.
Yeah, several planned that we could get to work on. So I'm fairly excited about new dungeons, and I think that could be a season relevant thing as well, because I think there's plenty of design space to make dungeons that spawn, during particular seasons or what else. Marcus X Dad says, any changes to hard containers? Yes, there's diminishing returns to hard containers now.
We already mentioned that it's in the changelog thread.
You can check out the changelog, and there's a note about hard containers there. So hard containers should be less good. Still, hopefully, fairly good, but a bit of a nerf there at least. Cozy TV says, can we talk about whale cheesing? In my opinion, if you pull it to the shore, and if it can't reach you, it should just swim off. You can just aggro it, run onto land, and hit it from 2.5 tiles away. When it flees, you can just re-aggro and pull it back. Give it a ranged attack. Yeah, it should have like a blowhole where it would...
Well, I mean, to be sure, we have done some changes that, to some extent, addresses this, but the more general problem is that the animal AI kind of needs an overhaul. And arguably, I think that is one of the things that we should probably do sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's one of the things on our medium.
The current AI architecture can't really swim away when it can't reach you, unfortunately. So that needs an overhaul.
There is a bit of a rework of the general animal AI in the pipe.
Yep.
Jules Wynn says, are you sticking with the same map style with divided islands, or will there be more landmass this time? We'll talk in general terms, and we'll say that the early game reliance on boats should be significantly less.
Yeah.
As well. But the exact disposition of the new world will remain a surprise. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think that was one of the things that we felt gave World 11 a bit of a tragic
Weird
start.
start.
Start in life is that the ocean mechanic was new and we weren't really sure how it would be, how people would interact with that, and I don't know. Arguably, it wasn't the most optimal disposition. So hopefully, we've made some improvements to that, throughout the course of World 11 and also now for the recent.
Yes, exactly.
So, we've made travel significantly easier, and as I've mentioned on previous streams, I'm generally more of a fan of fast travel, than I have historically been. So, there will be changes made. Spooky Bluk. Can you make inspecting villages power level by outsiders locked behind siegecraft or something? It's potentially a good idea.
Potentially, not necessarily. I'm not exactly sure what it would do, how it would improve anything.
It'd make it harder to have scouting alts.
Yeah, but they just need siegecraft.
I don't know. Getting siegecraft is not just.
Perhaps it might not hurt.
I'm not saying that it's hard, but
no, it might not hurt. It might not be a bad idea.
Good idea there, Spooky Bluk. We'll consider that. X said, Viking, will you keep the same size of the map for World 12? Well, that will also remain a surprise. We'll see what we do about the map size for World 12.
I did actually consider if it might be a good idea to have the inspection of power level like some kind of resource demanding ritual, so to speak.
Right on.
I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not.
Yeah, it could be. That's certainly an idea worth keeping on the back burner until we see how it plays out, at least. If we determine, one idea I had was that perhaps one could make it so that the 8-hour weakness window is triggered instantly.
Really?
Yeah, that would be significantly more lenient to the
sure.
defender.
To be sure.
So if you wanted to make that, we could always make that change. Marcus X Dad says, I'm happy with changes to archery, but it's still pretty lame compared to melee and even unarmed in terms of first weeks of hunting. You buff damage for hunters and rangers bow, but the point when you're able to craft them, you have no reason to go for ranged PvE as you're already able to make good armor and weapons. Shooting 2 to 3 times and having to switch to melee weapons sucks too, as your deck blocked. Moves that rely on marksmanship and requiring a bow equip would be cool too. Yeah, good ideas all around, I think. Good thinking all around. Again, we have now increased the damage for the bows again with the World 12.
Again, I don't think you mentioned this actually.
Yeah, no, I mentioned it. It's in the change log.
Okay.
I
can't remember you reading this, but perhaps I'm just getting senile.
He's been smoking weed all day. His wife. So, the tool CS says, please don't wipe custom images. Make them part of the account data like hands.
Right.
Indeed.
That should be fixed.
Yeah.
It's it is something that would need to be fixed, to be sure.
Marcus X Dad says that good idea is lying on forums from like 3 worlds. Just say, which good idea are you referring to, Marcus?
I can only assume the archery idea. Not sure what the idea he refers to. That would have been on the forum for 3 worlds, though.
My backlog on the critiquing ideas threads is out of this world. How's your backlog on the critiquing ideas?
There is one. Let's just leave it at that, perhaps.
I should be more disciplined, but perfection is an affront to the gods. Algirlit says, might be a good time to look into a way for players not to have to manually delete the data left behind from World 11. What data are you referring to there, Algirlit?
Is he referring to the map data? Because I'm pretty sure that's already a thing.
I think we solved that.
The previous world.
Yeah. Whatever is fine. Kill the bots in World 12, just as Tibia did.
No, actually, I think I managed to mess that up and didn't clear the map, even though I intended to.
Right on.
So that might be why he thinks that. But
Feel free to
let's try to remember that this time then.
Yep. Kill the bots in World 12 just as Tibia did. I'm curious what Tibia did to kill the bots, because off the top of my head, I doubt that Tibia has actually killed the bots. I don't know how you feel about that. Talkback says, can we expect repairable armor in World 12? I mean, you manage your own expectations, but I don't know. How do you feel about repairable armor?
I don't know. It's been a topic that you have brought up many times.
Yep.
On my hand, I'm not sure that armor really needs to be repairable.
Spooky Block says Tibia got Battle Eye. That's what they did.
Didn't we look into Battle Eye and then found that it sucked and didn't solve any problem in any game that it was used?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That Battle Eye.
Yep.
We took a look at Battle Eye. We will not be implementing Battle Eye.
Indeed.
I
think we even did this on stream.
Yeah, we did it on stream. Yeah, we talked about it. I think it was the Christmas stream, maybe. We talked about Battle Eye and laughed at it.
Yep.
If you want a good laugh at Battle Eye, you can go look at the Christmas stream. It was, yeah. Early world armor is. Whoa, no! I'm being ruthlessly attacked.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm going down. Shit world, man. Shit world. Drunk. Ah. Defend myself. Manly defense. So,
did he not even get an opening from that?
Wow. Whoa. Nope.
How is that possible?
I suck too much, bro.
I think you always open some. Cue Benny Hill music.
Horse coming to the rescue here.
Right, the horse is also fighting.
I can't giddy up the horse when it's fighting.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Damn, son. I'm going down here, boy. I'm going down. With what? With that? You so mad? You so mad? Why you have to be mad? I'm not mad, bro. You mad, bro. Go, Felix. Get him. I dealt damage to him.
I mean, you could always Hadouken him.
Damn, son. I took a lot of damage there.
Was that a cleave?
Why you remove crit? And then I don't know what you mean by crit. What do you mean by crit? I assume that was a cleave. He dealt like 2,000 damage to me. Man. But he will feel the wrath of my horse.
Say goodbye to your horse, perhaps.
Yeah. Crit. Why did you remove crit? What did you mean by that?
Crit. Some kind of critical hit.
Critical damage, maybe?
We have some kind of critical damage in the game.
Felix is so mad it's hilarious. Grinded all day and got no fight. You know? Oof! Damn, we got knocked out cold, boys.
Crit equals metal spiraling.
Oh, metal spiraling. All right, metal crits. Right on. Okay. He's angry about that. All right. Feel free to voice your opinions on the forums. Feel free to talk in a calm voice. No need to attack people. No need to get violent. Look at my discipline and not using my god powers here to punish you.
But I thought this was the player interaction that we wanted.
Exactly. meaning that I should be happy that I was knocked out. Or...
Exactly.
True, I am. Damn, son.
Ouch.
Very nearly severed a piece of you. How do I even treat these? Is this a surgical kit? I don't
think cruel incision is that difficult to treat.
Oof. I don't think I'll be able to get well from this until
at the end of the world.
Shupla Permaban. He got you good, bro. Yeah, he took me out for sure, boys. Some lit thick PvP content going down on the dev stream. It's not Wretched Gore. No, I got lucky this time. Let's go to the ye old medicine cabinet. cabinet, see what we can do to patch me up. This is not Yield medicine cabinet. Nor this. I have no idea where the medicine. Here? No. No, it's over here. Oh, there we go.
There we go with the organization.
There we go. I only need to. You're wearing too much. Okay, I only need a gauze to treat.
Oh, really?
Not even a problem. Didn't even hurt, bro. Didn't even hurt. What's with the horses on the lake? Left them there during winter? Yeah, what is with that, man?
What did you say?
There are horses on the lake.
Good question.
They walked out there during winter.
Oh, right. That's true. So what? They should drown when the ice melts?
I assume. I don't know what else. What else could happen? I don't know. Like, horses are not. I don't know. Can horses swim? Yeah, they can. In real life.
They probably do.
Are they good swimmers?
Well, I mean, probably good enough to escape from this from this little pond.
Lie there, flapping their little hooves. Help me, help me. But no help. No help will be forthcoming. Oof, just a flesh wound, Felix. I would happily remove crits again. Because that's how
This is all it means.
Yeah, exactly. This is the price I have to pay for removing it. I don't know. Feel free to let me know if that is a good change or not. Like, I suppose Felix presented his
his view on the matter.
He made his
humble opinion.
Yeah, he made his view of humble opinion abundantly clear. It's clear that he likes the fix at least, and so let the rest of y'all feel free to give us a shout out in terms of how you feel about it. Because not everyone. I agree with Felix. Oh, you would also like to see me knocked out then. Yes. Harsh. I'll wait for the entire verdict of the jury before I accept this madness.
Before you accept and stay knocked out.
Yeah, before I actually let you knock me out. They even swim loaded with gear and rider, but most will hate you for it. Yeah, maybe they do. Horses.
Oh, I see. Right.
This is your main character? Yes, this is my main character. I have not been super active playing this world. There he is. He's riding around out there. Every moment Charlie squats in the bush, he grows stronger. Every moment I lie here, I grow weaker. Hey. I have a present for you. Glorious present from Mother Russia. Let's see what he has. Come. Not on your life, bro. Not on your life, bro. Here we go. Oh, it's horse dancing time.
All right, you can do that with no crime, of course.
Oh damn!
Oh my! Those are some pants.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, I dropped the pants. Or no, he didn't actually give. Feel free to give them to me again. I fucked that up. I effed that up. Thank you. Okay, let's have a look at Felix's crazy pants. These are the
Doesn't
literal.
even fit on the screen.
It does not even fit on the screen. These are the literal crazy pants. Damn, son, you worked hard on these, bro.
I almost do wonder how that even works.
Yeah,
I mean, did he spend like 100 million XP on gilding songs, or?
I can only imagine. I have no idea. He said magic when I asked. It's a bot. Drop those pants in the water. Yeah, arguably I should. Are we only allowed to speak about spiraling right now? No, you can speak about spiraling anytime, Hoylander.
Or any other mechanic right now, if you would wish. If
Song.
that's what you were referring to.
Yeah, or any mechanic is fine. We're just shooting the breeze at this point. Yeah, he said he uses the gilding song to get to this point.
But like, how much XP would you need for that? I can't even imagine.
No idea. Like, he showed me what it would require to sing to them again. Can I even do that? I can enter into a murderous rage. No, gilding song. You need
387 million.
Yeah. 387 million, 307,000, 5,877. Okay.
I mean, that's some amount of XP, though.
That is for sure some amount of XP. Let's see. Where's the step down?
I mean, do you get that from the public coffers, or?
I can only assume. Biozen says, if you're removing on spiraling, does that mean you intend on maxing metal quality to the highest node a player can find? Yeah, that is pretty much the.
I guess that would be the
that would be the
one. That would be one possible consequence at least. I mean, I'm not sure if you can game the quality system somehow and get qualities from other things in there.
Yeah.
One way or another, that would not be unreasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make good coal or whatever.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is still some way of pushing it upwards, but yeah, not entirely sure on how that will play out. BMG Clark says, if I surround a village and another village and offset their power upgrade times, don't I just completely nullify this vulnerability period? If so, this pretty much means only noobs and hermits will ever be properly vulnerable.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends. It would still be quite possible to just siege the outer village first.
Yeah, I don't see how that makes you impenetrable in any way. Actually, I mean, you can attack the outer village, and that would be the point.
Mm-hmm.
Spawn in like 10 trolls to kill Felix. Can we have Felix executed for crimes he made when World 11? I don't know what crimes. Falcon 1 says, are you going to be more open to the idea of more regular world resets that act more like seasons or leagues in PoE? What's PoE? Someday. Now the Spiralings, rest in peace. I don't know. I think the problem is that once we announce a world reset, the current.
Well, I mean, the thing is, ideally, I would like the game to be able to move in the complete opposite direction with fewer and fewer resets.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, the game should be exciting all the time without needing a reset.
Yep.
And I'm not sure anyone would really enjoy. Well, I mean, I'm sure there are people, but I'm not sure it's a good idea to have like monthly resets or anything.
Yeah. So again, I think our ambition and goal is to have fewer resets. Yeah. I mean, ideally it would be.
Ideally, the world would be permanent.
That would be the kind of long term. Oh shit! Here we go again. Yep. Lots of comments trickling in there, for a fair amount of them at least. Alright, Zodan says, okay, since Felix is kind of camping us here, we can just start a new character so that we can, or we can continue with Zoom Zoom. Maybe he'll come kill Zoom Zoom now. Challenge accepted. Let's go fight. We fought Felix, and I think the result
spoke for themselves.
Yeah. You weren't even on my level, bro. Couldn't even get to me. Visit Timus Pyramid World 11. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Where's Timus's pyramid? Zug Zug. In before Felix comes in 15 minutes by teleport. Yeah.
Indeed, who knows?
Who knows? He's welcome to try. Yeah, what else did we do wrong in World 11? There were the travel rules and restrictions.
Yeah.
And there were the food changes.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Perhaps there were some kind of arguments for questing also. I'm not exactly sure about that one.
There were a lot of complaints about questing, but I think we did at least improve on that a little bit with
the captain questing back.
Exactly. So Zented69 says, give yourself like a million stats and just execute people who cross your path. This is quality streaming.
Well, I mean, in that case, you could just Hadoken them.
What is the command for that? It's just
act Hado.
Hado. Is he still here? I can Hadoken. No, he left. Damn. We'll go back to the other guy. Maybe he'll show up. Can you cast God's Lightning and smite anyone with creator powers?
I guess that would be the Hadoken then.
That will be remains to be seen. Still no torture and enslave Hearthlings. Why do you plan World 12? That's the most requested change. Torturing and slaughtering Hearthlings. I think several of the changes in the change log would be relevant to the torture and
that's all.
Torture for young Hearthlings. Ilios Min says, I like your name because the names of my characters are Jum Jum and Jum Jum Jr. Yeah, I usually just give them some nonsense name. So, Zum Zum for this one. Altiok says, what would you intend active players to be doing 1 month into a world, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years?
I mean, that's not really the way we usually consider it.
Yeah, I know that definitely true. But I mean, let's roll with the hypothetical here for once. I mean, this is not how we approach game development. Like, we don't think we haven't thought really in those terms.
I mean, it's not like we plan ahead or anything.
No, I mean, legit. Like, we don't. I mean, that's not really. I don't know if you can approach it that way. Would that be meaningful? Like, would that be a meaningful frame of mind to think about it in that way?
Perhaps, who knows?
I don't know. For longer term, I think, ideally, I'd like to say that PvP could be a relevant thing. Other than that, I think it boils down to philosophicals, like what makes a game fun, what makes a game challenging, how do you, what is a fun reward from playing a game?
Exactly.
And I don't know, I think most of the ideas that I come up with kind of boil down to like increasingly, abilities of your character in the game in one way or another.
Yeah, to be sure. I mean, there are things to be considered, like, like building a large and beautiful base is, of course, homesteading, if you will.
Yeah.
Is something that ideally this game would do well.
Yeah. And
that is, of course, part of the reason why you want to be aiming for object-controlled objects too.
Yeah.
For more freeform building of various kinds.
I think freeform building, and also speaking on the topic of things that we would really like to see in the game, I think freeform building is my kind of biggest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is really one of those things that Haven should have.
Yeah.
But yes, as for endgame content generally, it is the intention, it is the intent, if not the effect, that PvP should be high up there at least.
Yeah, and I mean, if the game is to be relevant for like a 5-year period, then the game kind of has to be self-sustaining, self-rejuvenating, if you will, or self-contained in some sense. So, I mean, there are a lot of things that I could say in terms of advancing into new content and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, you're going to run out, burn through any amount of content that we put in, especially if you have like 5 years to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I think I would like to provide an experience where the player can just, play, I don't know, maybe Second Life is a cursed word, but like basically just
Is
have.
Second Life still a thing?
I don't know.
No idea.
No, I think it is a thing still. But to just have a place where you can log in, play with your friends in a fantasy make-believe world where you can still have adventures on a daily basis. Like,
yeah, exactly. I guess it is the providing of those adventures that is the real challenge.
Yeah. Why more like Second Life instead of more like EVE Online? I don't see those as mutually exclusive. If by EVE Online you mean I don't know what's the staying power.
I don't know what distinction he refers to here, to be sure.
Yeah. So what do you see the staying power of EVE being? Because I think PvP is one of the things there, right? I mean,
surely, that's what I always hear about, at least.
That's what I hear about, and I think that would be nice too. And again, I don't think that those are mutually exclusive, because I certainly think that player interactions, trade, warfare could certainly also be a driver of longevity of the game.
Indeed. And to some extent, I would hope that a fun PvP system would also in itself be a driver of trade.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, all of those systems should be feeding into one another,
exactly.
in a kind of closed loop that can sustain itself more or less indefinitely. And I think,
exactly.
I mean, it's not like the game.
But I mean, it is also this is for this exact reason that we reason in terms of making the political landscape more dynamic.
Yeah.
Because again, when everyone just shuts themselves inside their walls and never has to be afraid of anything, then that's kind of the end of the world right there.
Yeah. So. Because that's one of the things that we kind of felt with a lot of the Haven worlds, is that they kind of grow stale after a while, because for the very reason that you stated, that people kind of tend to lock themselves behind walls, and interaction or at least large scale interaction. I mean, I still some people. I mean, we still have players. There's still a decent amount of players online after a year of the world, after 2 years. I mean, World 10 had a lot of players online after.
To be
2 years.
To be sure.
So it's not like the game has zero staying power beyond a year or whatever. I mean, I could certainly.
It's not like we're making no progress.
No, and we don't really ourselves know what the optimal rate of world reset is, or like world rejuvenation is. So this is us trying out various things, basically.
Exactly.
Like the previous world we ran for 2 years. This world we run for 1 year. Who knows how long World 12 is going to be with us?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm at least fairly excited to be on a new world, because the new world start is always a lot of fun. And
to be sure.
And that is one of the kind of I'd like to capture that experience. I'd like to keep that experience.
Exactly. I mean, some people keep saying that you don't need a reset to just spawn a new character and have that same experience again, but it's obviously not the same experience.
Yeah. It's not the same experience when everyone is scrambling to find new territory and blah blah blah.
Exactly. Now, that being said, there is also a case to be made that the start of the world is a bit intense. It's perhaps not obvious that should be the constant experience of the game.
No,
but
to be fair, to be sure.
but also to be sure, it would be nice if. I mean, ideally, you should be able to just start a new character and have that as your own personal world reset.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
Ideally.
Yeah, ideally. It should still be. I'd like to capture that experience. I think that experience is fun in and of itself, and it would be nice if I don't know really what the solution is, because it seems like it's kind of either or. Like, either we make a world reset or we don't, and. I think there are some conflicting design goals there. I think one design goal is that, or conflicting fun goals at least. I mean, the world reset, the new world experience is fun. Ooh, getting pleasant. Let's see if I can even. Ooh, that won't help me at all. To spend all we got, bros. Kind of a deck list this year. I'm getting wrecked by badgers. But I think the dead. Can you teleport to some players who are online and see what people are up to right now? Yeah, sure, we can do that, I think.
To be sure.
That seems... Oh, dang. Ouch. Atiox says, you pointed out that players hold themselves up in their bases and makes the world stay. Wouldn't that indicate that the punishment for failing in PvP is too punishing if people are largely avoiding that?
Yeah, there is certainly a case to be made.
Certainly a case to be made.
I mean, to be sure, though, there are conflicting design elements here also, because I think one of the main distinguishing characteristics of this game is that there are real risks involved.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, what I would ideally like to obtain is a situation where, like, there are several different scales of PvP.
Yeah.
Like, there could be fights that are not necessarily fights to the absolute death of the faction.
Yeah.
And it could still be fun.
That would be nice. I mean, the kind of problem there is the kind of Boolean outcome that fights have historically had in Haven. That like it's either you win or you wipe someone out completely, and it would be nice if there were like intermediates to that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's log in on do who? Check out some people. Who do you want to check out, guys?
Exposing everyone's IP address.
Sorry. But, okay, you tell me someone. And account name for that matter. Can I just teleport to someone randomly?
There's no command for that, for sure.
What about...
But I mean, perhaps you should teleport to someone you want to be teleported to, I don't know.
Show stats. Yeah, 5,000, 10,000. They can be whatever you want, sir.
Indeed.
Teleport to Gadgen.
That was last world. Gadgen was the quest giver.
Yeah, I know. But I thought that maybe you had an account.
Alright.
Just teleport over here. We're in Fort Alley now. Allery now.
Where did you teleport? 0-0?
No, I just teleported. Yeah, we can teleport to 0-0 for sure.
Where did you teleport though?
No, I just went to somewhere close to where I was. I found it.
Oh, cool.
This was a nice little home.
This looks nice to be sure.
Well built.
There's no game. Okay, there is a Garrigan online.
Entering Timeless Mountain. Behold my pyramid. Where did I go for the pyramid? Which direction? No, this leads to the pyramid? Or...
Presumably.
Where are the fragging pyramids, son?
Presumably it would be up towards the center of the square that you're teleporting around.
Ooh, where am I even going with this? There is none. Ha ha!
Okay.
That's real funny, dude. It's real.
You have to be in combat with him.
Like that?
Yep. So I thought it should be. Well, it should have been that way. That's weird. I haven't used it in a while.
Alright. Let's go to 0-0 then. Before crushing sword. Here we have the Ring of Brodgar, entering the Mischievous Company. Alright, they built quite the something here.
I do think this leads to some village in some direction. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, Felix Kitten gives me coordinates, but your coordinates are not my coordinates.
Indeed.
So you're using the world map coordinates, and I have no idea how they translate
Indeed.
to my coordinates, to the correct and accurate coordinates. We'll just teleport around madly until we find interesting things. We'll fly across the map. Checking
That
things
sounds like a way to not find very much interesting, but perhaps, who knows? An abandoned village or something?
Looks like it. So not a lot of people decided to settle in the Knights Who Say Ni in this area apparently.
Well, I mean, the population density isn't exactly so high that you'd expect to find anything by just randomly teleporting around.
Maybe not. Maybe we found something. Little horn? Little horn?
Little Horn Village.
Little Horn Village. We found Little Horn Village.
Or at least the Knar belonging to it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, ideally, I think the game should be kind of self-cycling. Like, you should be able to enjoy the content that the game provides continuously, quite simply. And I don't know how to accomplish that, but I think syncs would be one thing.
Indeed.
There should always be a way to get rid of all the stuff that you produce, and there should always be a way to sync it into some project or other. I think freeform building could be a big thing as well.
To be sure.
Though, to be fair, I'm not sure like how freeform building and maintaining a permanent location ties in with PvP and like an intensive siege warfare setup and things.
Yeah, good question. That's one of the big questions of the game.
Yeah. It's definitely not like an easy environment to maintain or develop.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly has a lot of challenges involved with it in terms of making the game fun for ideally everyone, but
Indeed.
there are certainly different play styles that the game could potentially cater to, and I don't know. Like historically, I think we've. Oh, here we found something. This must have been pretty nice back in its heyday. I wonder how long this has been abandoned.
Good question.
It'd be like.
Not sure how long it takes for it to reach this state, actually.
Yeah, me neither. Just teleport directly to players, please. I would, but people build massive. Zenta69 said people build massive structures. It takes years of time to build, and the equivalent of tens of thousands of dollars to build a new, and they get destroyed sometimes. It just takes real effort. All right. So what's the how do they make it so that it takes real effort? What would be the equivalent change in Haven? How could we make it so that it takes real effort to destroy things in Haven? Like people, I mean, I don't know. I think the siege system that we have been running in World 11 has been, that arguably that required some real effort to destroy things, but people didn't seem to be too interested in using it.
Indeed.
So what kind of real effort does Eve demand of players?
Perhaps some kind of effort on an object-by-object basis being destroyed.
One more time?
Perhaps some effort on the basis of each object being destroyed.
Right. So, but it's trivial to destroy your own objects then?
Perhaps. I don't know.
Instead of effort, people need to just gather up in 10k guilds and build such things are effortless job. Please teleport to Ayalon.
Or
oops. Nope. You're not playing, sir.
There's you spell it with 2 L's.
So did he, right? Yeah.
Video. Okay.
No such user. Zen69 says, yes, my point is to not be deterred from creating dynamic housing because the current siege is probably a good amount of effort. And if people will build some big crazy house, I think they will just put more effort into protecting it. Yeah. Marcus X Dad, did you fix people having impossible quests they can't complete until several seasons pass? Yes. I mean, quests are seasonally localized.
It depends on how you look at it. Perhaps, I mean, what we did fix was the quest to pick things that are seasonal. We have not.
I received 1 PM recently about a guy who had like a defeat an adder quest and went through. So I guess there are still some quests that are, not fixed.
Not sure about that. We
measure.
might have explicitly done for pick herbs or something. I'm sure. Anyway, I think what you might be complaining about is that there can still be like study quests or eat quests for things that are seasonal.
But those you can complete by trading. And
exactly.
So that was the reason for me. I mean, if you have the quest and season changes, well, no, then you're out of luck. But the quest randomizer, takes the current season into like good consideration. Like it looks like how close to the end you are and shit, right?
Yeah, I think so. At least we talked about that. I'm not actually sure how we did and how we implemented that in the end, though.
Hoylander says, is it possible to somehow make walls prettier? I feel like a lot of my homestead village ideas are dampened by the rigidity of walls. I couldn't agree more.
Exactly.
It's pretty dumb that like every little farmstead has to be like a palisaded fortress type.
Not sure exactly what that means. I mean, it's not like we couldn't just add new walls that are only distinguished by their looks.
Yeah. I mean, arguably, you could give like similar like siege protection to a lot of significantly simpler walls.
Mm-hmm. But of course, it's also true that if they don't look imposing, then it looks kind of weird if they are as good for siege as palisades and brick walls are.
Mm. Fat Funny Valentine says, "What if the primary wood used in the initial corner post decides the color of the logs used in a palisade? What about that, Loftar? Would that be nice?"
If he
wants variable materials.
Well, I mean, surely it would be determined on a segment by segment basis, though, not just by the initial corner posts.
You can build your crazy rainbow palisade.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it would be cheating, obviously, if you just had to put a few blocks of wood of that expensive type into the initial corner post and then have that replicated around the entire.
All right, boys, we found Beyond Thunderdome. Beyond the Thunderdome.
Is that Mad Max?
I think that Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, I think, is one of the Mad Max movies.
Oh, right. It might even be a movie in itself, right?
Can I jump to a Heart Secret?
Yes.
How do I do that?
No, you first have to check out which character belongs to the HS command.
Okay, I don't know if I want to reveal this person's character on stream. That might be. We need your username or account name rather.
But then you would reveal it anyway.
Yeah, so if you're willing to give up your account name, we can work to you. Otherwise, it's not going to be. Tuz321. Is that a Heart Secret? No, I can't. I don't want to. If I can look up your Heart Secret, but then I have to reveal your character. So if you're fine with that, then I can use a Heart Secret. But Erland. Let's try that. No such user.
This is going well.
This is going really well.
Unless he meant the Heart Secret.
Warp to Jordan Coles, see what he's up to. Damn, son. What we got going on here, bro? Have you considered systems of building megastructures in more easily siegeable temp areas for rewards?
Temp areas?
I'm not sure what you want there exactly.
What is a temp area?
This image is not available in your image.
What is that from? What is that a reference to?
I think it's probably like German censorship, maybe. Google.
You seem to recognize it.
Hey, this is pretty cool. They built it on an island.
Cool.
That's really cool. Awesome. Is this the Autobot logo here, or what is that? Is it maybe the Ukraine or something? Like the Ukrainian hetman stuff? Czech Northwest Island was going to be a market. Oh, that was really sweet.
Yeah,
Damn, son, that's pretty cool.
it really is.
Go to Dakin. Boom, hedgehogs, boys.
Oh, it's Dakin and hedgehogs these days.
Jeez, I could really use the new client here. I did take the time to reduce the complexity of these meshes for pepper and peas and shit. So
Did you do peas too?
I did do peas.
I don't think we've actually pushed those yet.
No, I know, but in the next world there should be at least some optimization of these because I could certainly see this lagging out. Yeah. This is fun story, true story. This is like one of the most expensive meshes kind of in the game. I looked at the source file, and the source file was over 1 meg in size.
Vertex data.
Vertex data. So quite a few vertexes in there. Let's just say that all are not used in the most meaningful way. So, hey, this is really nice. You must have spent so much time on this. This is really nice. Not sure how to feel about the crazy wood colors. But
yeah, that is a good question, isn't it?
do you have any? Should I push them more to the natural wood color range, or is it fun that you can have crazy fun house? Arguably, you should be able to paint the boards or the houses
No way.
whatever color you want it to. Yeah, hey, look at this. This is badass.
Nice.
This is really badass. You got these whale skulls surrounding the charter stone. That's really cool. Damn. I like having the colors this magic, man. Kotek, check my village. Nope, no such user. Finigi says, this is why we have simple crops. Yeah, I could definitely see that being a thing.
That being said, though, we had that weird experience when we reduced the vertex count because what triggered this was the fact that I had tried just turning half of the faces of the crops off in the client just to see whether it was vertex bound.
Yeah.
And it very much appeared to be.
Mm-hmm.
But then we reduced the number of vertices, and that made no difference whatsoever in our testing. So that was kind of weird.
That was weird. Requires further testing, I suppose.
Indeed.
This seems to be the hot setup for crop.
Yeah, I've seen that previously for sure.
Covering the B-skep area optimally.
Yep.
Layout. I'm more of a kind of 4x4 little square guy myself. You got your
is that Korean?
waifus. Huh?
That's Korean, right?
It looks like Korean, yeah.
Check the same of the other car.
Some mushroom lady.
Oh, indeed.
Pretty nice. More sketch colors one.
Never.
Warp to Kiebermek.
Is this? Oh, is this?
This is the community fair. Damn.
I haven't seen it this world actually.
Oi.
Oh, Leatherball. He's scoring on you.
Oh, damn. We gotta play football. This is awesome. Ooh. This is actually pretty cool. Oh, no. It's so close. So close. So close. This is actually awesome. You should do more things like this.
Arguably.
I have no stamina.
Oh, you got it.
No, is this an offside or?
I have no idea.
You don't know the rules
Nope.
for sports ball?
I actually heard that in the latest FIFA installment, EA has apparently been trying to use deep learning to improve their offside.
Oh, that's a goal! This is awesome. Really cool. Really, really cool. Love that.
Work around a bit.
We'll have a look at your base here. Look at the nice football field.
Yes, to be sure.
Really cool.
It is. What are the terrains actually?
They are.
Are they some cloud range and what grass?
Cloud range and what?
Cool.
Really cool. Arguably, the trees should have like a preferred tile set and drop.
They
down.
kind of do. It's just that they only prefer woodland terrains.
Right, but do they drop woodland trees when they?
Ooh, we're not sure actually.
I mean, I think they all drop normal forest.
Yeah.
When they grow up.
Probably.
Zborg085 says, "Love you guys. You made a great game.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you." Really nice. Not quite the community fair from last world, but he had an additional year to build that
That
one.
is some collection of statues. I do wonder what the purpose of that is.
Presumably to get authority for the village.
Yeah, but what do you need so much authority for?
Not sure. Maybe it's just a cool project.
Could be, I guess. But if you're building statues specifically, I'd almost have to assume it's for the authority for some reason.
Looks cool.
That it does.
That it really does. And there, look, we all got the bling on all the trees. Visit my unfinished orchard. My character is Margulis. Oh yeah. Nope, no such user. More metal sinks, please, says Cozy TV. Arrgh.
More metal things indeed. Yeah, there should be more metal things to be sure. But then someone also wanted repairable armor.
Yeah. That's fun. Fat fun now. Okay. We'll try that. That works. Boom. Entering the oceanside orchard.
Oh, so there is the orchard.
That's nice. And a charter stone. This is really nice. Humbler, but nice.
To be sure, it is always a a somewhat ambivalent experience to wipe all the work of the world.
Definitely. I'm not at all, at least, feeling the melancholy that I feel now. I wouldn't be opposed to running a longer run next week.
Well, Trickstown, is this a southern continent then? I encountered it just earlier today when I was teleporting around the southern continent.
Yeah.
Examining some Z values of the map.
As one is wont to do.
Yep. I was, as I mentioned to you earlier, I was considering redoing the representation of Z values in general.
Come visit me at Neo Basilisk. We'll do that. Entering Basileon Refuge. Where's the Basileos himself? We have him here. Greetings. Oof, we got some lag fields here as well. Ooh, damn, son, we got the animal lag here.
Oh, of course, indeed.
Nice.
Anything
Well stocked. This is a beautiful CAFO operation going on.
I've certainly seen less beautiful CAFOs in the game.
No, definitely. I mean, this was a good CAFO.
Yep.
The good kind of CAFO.
Yeah, right. I should also recall doing that change to the cattle idle AI that I've been planning for some time, so that they don't just get stuck along the edges of their pens.
Right. Any possibility for improvements to survey science so that everyone doesn't just make flat bases?
Oh, right. You mean so that you could set the Z level of each vertex individual in the survey science or something like that?
Full 3D modeling of the terrain.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you can already do that theoretically by using the dig command.
Yeah, sure.
But it's not like there isn't any kind of case to be made. Not sure how highly I would prioritize that, but well, it's not like I hate the idea or anything.
Robinson Island. Hey, look at this badass thing.
Indeed.
The Black Tower. We found the Black Tower.
What is it? Is it basalt or?
Not use the eat here.
Oh, it's black coal.
Black coal.
I see.
Tower made of coal.
Right, we finally fixed so that black coal could be used as stone.
Yeah. I'm not sure that is how it should be, but that's how it is. You gave me an enemy away from. Thank you. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Much obliged. You get a kiss? Oh, I can't kiss. Is it a crime to kiss?
It might be.
Is love a crime?
That is actually somewhat weird, though. I wouldn't think it would be a crime to initiate emotes.
Can't wipe the world now. Your beat that painting. Assault. Kissing assault.
Unless it's consensual.
Is it there's someone you forgot about? Kotek and look at the best village in the world. Well, I'm up for the best village in the world. Kotek. Kotek user's not playing. But maybe I can go to. Is it H for the software?
You might be referring to the user Cave Hermit.
Boom. This is nice.
Those whale skulls are pretty nice for decoration.
Damn, son, that is pretty cool. Yeah.
What realm is this?
Oh, yeah.
No, AD.
AD. Oh, this is middle of AD, yeah. Looks like it, boys. This is nice. Really good work, boys. And then we have
the waifus on the ground instead.
The waifu on the map there. Yeah, I noticed.
Ah, that's fallow.
That is fallow. Looks like someone checked out of the game here. Not maintaining these crops. Ain't nobody got time. Why do you need these fields, man?
Yeah, I have been wondering. Like in the course of beta testing the new client, I've been teleporting around the map for quite a bit myself, and I've been seeing some crops of fields that are pretty large. I just can't really imagine what you'd use all that food for.
I mean, I guess it is the CAFO. Like
it could be the CAFOs, I guess.
Could be a big part of it. Is go north. We'll try to go north.
Ooh, those are some lag fields.
Them be the lag fields, boys.
I mean, if we are talking about vertex optimizations, I think
that trees feeding animals, mass producing effing banners.
Yeah, but the fields I was seeing was like wheat or barley fields, and I don't think you use those for banners.
When you want gains in Haven, you just up the scale. Yeah, these are true massing. Hoylander says, do you think a nomad or traveling trader playstyle could somehow become viable by addition of more endgame viable content for that playstyle, forageables, etc.? Is it too difficult to balance investment versus reward compared to the brick wall village playstyle?
Well, I mean, there are other issues as well, like how a hermit would protect himself and his property.
Yeah. I mean, you can log out on horses now, but you can't log out with wagons and the whole shebang. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would certainly like it if the nomad kind of type of playstyle could be supported more, because I think it sounds fun on paper. Traveling trader, I think, is a bit of a pipe dream, unfortunately.
At least as long as charter stones exist.
As long as there are charter stones and teleportation and I don't think it's a realizable goal, to be perfectly honest. Because I also think that the level of bulk that you need to trade in order for trade to be relevant in Haven is
true.
Is so large that I don't think a single trader just moving around on the map is really going to be able to.
Ooh, those are some nice fields.
Damn, son. certainly see why they use simple props. Yeah. It's the only real way to get this scene to work at all, I suppose. Also, planting these trees really tight.
Yeah, I have been noting that for sure. Not sure if that should be nerfed.
That should probably be nerfed. Should probably have some sort of exclusion stone around. Okay. Port to Superstar, Leviathan's Way, Capital Village. Okay, give me someone to teleport to. Go west, life is peaceful. Superstar. Okay, it's Nick. User is not playing. Port to us, LW. Let's go.
LW indeed.
Woo.
Are you running into memory leaks now, perhaps? I think there are some.
To restart the client?
I think logging out and back in again would be enough.
We got wrecked hard by that one. So, new client when?
Yeah, as soon as possible, indeed.
Teleport to Felix, Kitten, Kotek, like, why you typo and not retry? You are my sub to this. Fallout, who are you after? Like, should I work to Fallout? Fallout. User's not playing. Superstar.
What's that user? What's that user?
Not playing.
Is he perhaps referring to Svetasol? Because Svetasol is playing a character named this Superstar. It is account names that we want, not character names.
Yeah, we want account names, not character names.
What is that on the ground? I'm not actually sure.
It's a dragon. A Chinese dragon now.
Oh, right, now I see it. Oh, that's nice.
That is really nice. Hello! Leave crit in game. Oh, this is the metal operation.
Right. That's funny.
You're parading around a sign. I'm not sure what you find. I'm fine with that. Nice. Crit gods. Yeah, definitely. Damn, it sounds like an impressive operation right here. Oh, that's a lot of metal. Wow. This is really nice. Where are we at even? The metal union is protesting.
Spice.
Damn, protect workers' rights. Farming alt 001.
These are some pretty big villages, to be sure. Oh, it's Thor's hammer, right?
Yeah, it's Mjolnir. Prudhelmer. Prudhelmer.
Thrutheimer?
Through. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Oh, that's nice with
Yeah.
unaligned houses.
Yep, I love that. That looks like the village from Asterix.
Oh, right.
Robertson says, I demand you teleport to me. Is it the same username as...
I think I've seen his username in the log, so it might be.
Check it out. Oh. Sakala.
Ah, it was Thrutheimer indeed. That you left.
Look at this nice little village idol right here.
Indeed. paved with malachite all around.
Look at it. Perfect Viking.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
That's actually nice. Using the turkey hat. That's nice. Loving the look there.
When you have the Sweden cap, though.
Yeah, exactly. You should be using the Sweden cap, though.
You could give him a dummy hat. It would be gone by the end of the world anyway.
Don't check the mine. Okay, I won't check the mine.
Oh, I really love that as the tower cap for
Yeah,
the. I've seen similar great halls. I think it looks really nice. Oh, it's flame tree, right? Right. No, it's weather stand, right?
Okay.
I mean, you have to collect a pretty fair amount of weather stands.
You could just have used the sketch, maybe.
Perhaps, indeed.
But if you want to do it legit, then it took a year to gather.
So indeed.
Blank 2. Okay, we're checking out. This was a really nice, great haul. Love that look.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the best combinations I've seen. Blank 2. We'll look at blank 2. Okay, we're back to the workers' union.
Oh, that's like the horse racing games they had in that world's community fair.
Nice.
That's really nice.
That is really nice. That's actually, I could see that being like a legit challenge because like you can block each other and maybe like it could actually be like a real element of skill to that maybe. That's really nice.
That is really nice. Oh, another football field.
Yep. Arguably somewhat
Is
less.
Leviathan's Wake the Eastern continent?
Is that not the? No, it's the one.
The northeastern, that is.
Hey, look at this. This is also nice. It's a
that's
little
nice indeed.
meditative garden here.
What is in them? Is it various
Let's
curiosities?
see if I can name them. This is the Nautilus, Gilded Nautilus, or whatever it's called. This is the cigar box, glue troll, silver rose thing, the Sears bowl.
Oh, of course.
This is the bronze steed. This is the scarab that you make from like insect powder or stuff. Golden tooth, snow globe, tin warrior, the kind of what's it called? The bauble. Yeah, exactly. Smith's bauble and the ivory figurine. I know them all now.
There is, of course, that matter of transparent materials not being visible inside the display box.
True.
Oh well.
We got some cool looks here as well.
Oh, and the Star of David.
Yes. He said something about the union protesting, the metal workers.
So this is also part of the union.
I can only assume. Yeah, pretty. He's got one of the navy bicorns that I made for the previous world reset, I think. It's nice, and you got the headset going on. It's nice. Superstar and Ballot.
That's pretty nice, great.
That is pretty.
What roof material is that actually? Is it beaver trees? I mean the Great Hall.
No, I don't think so. That is. No, it is beaver. No, the blue. Mm-hmm. The blue is beaver tree. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yep. That was a nice look as well.
Indeed.
Again, freeform building could really, really improve the game.
Yes.
Because
I would like to think so.
Clearly, there's a lot of creativity that people wish to express,
and
I love that. And I think we could make so much more.
Indeed.
Like it's the one feature that Haven arguably
should have had from the outset.
Exactly. should always have had and cannot long afford to do without.
Though it has afforded it for 13 years so far, but oh well.
That's terrible. What can you do? Little notice board here. Death is coming. 7-11. I love Kutsu. Next event, Waiting Club. Rice love this event. Alright, cool. You can save this picture on World 12. Yeah, hopefully we're going to be able to keep the pictures.
sketches.
Yeah, the sketch pictures where we aim to try to not
Nuke them.
nuke them.
Group of Hearthlings are always so cute.
Yep.
Except when they aren't cute anymore, but
except when they're coming after you. There's my entire fan club here. Huh? Awesome.
Though I think the Hussar wings are a bit overdone. There should be alternatives. It seems everyone is wearing Hussar wings.
Yep. Except I was wearing ant wings.
Indeed.
Yeah, there should probably be some alternatives to those. It kind of sucks when everyone is using them.
Mm-hmm. In which case, there is something to be said for the merchants cape, but
Yeah.
not cape, but
Cloak.
Indeed.
Damn. All right, we got a couple of minutes left. Any final questions? Feel free to shoot. This was a lot of fun. I'm pretty pumped about doing a new world. It always kind of, it's a like mixed emotions about removing people's hard-earned stuff, but also pretty excited for a new world. So
Yeah.
I at least, arguably this world I didn't build much of a good base, but usually I feel sad for losing my base for about a week, and then I'm good. And then it feels pure fun to have a new world.
Yeah, it is always fun to start a new world. That much is true. Well, always is perhaps a bit much said, but as long as there is enough time in between.
Marcus X Dad says, also I suggested giving people options while completing videos, like either do this or that. It'll help reduce videos being so luck.
It just feels to me like that would make them far easier.
Yeah, that would make them far easier.
I mean, like to a completely unproportional degree.
Sure. That being said, I don't hate the general idea.
I don't necessarily hate the idea, but I'm not sure you could do that without just completely making them trivial easy instead.
Nope. Give us no diamond building though. 0 out of 10. Give us a hint or two for some new content, Calvin. This boy is hot for some new content.
We've already given you the trailer, though.
There is the trailer. If you take a good hard look at the trailer, you'll find some sneak peeks of coming stuff. They currently depend on rolling back any hard quests and hope to get easier ones, and it works. Isn't it silly? I mean, that is the intended mechanic. I don't know if you think it's silly. That's kind of on you. I don't think it's super silly. Like the intention is that you should be able to re-roll impossible quests that you may get.
Indeed. So, I mean, it is kind of a bet.
Yeah. Mighty Sheep says, has anyone really been far even as decided to use even go want Doom look more like? I think I'm being trolled. Magic Man says, love the new trailer, by the way, thank you. I hope you liked it. Loftar hates it because he hates doing them. But I forced him to. We sat here for took 6 hours.
8 hours, 12 hours.
12 hours.
I think it took 2 days.
2 days, 4 years to make the new trailer. And we spent some time making the new trailer. And I think it's fun.
There are elements of fun in it, but yeah.
I think it's nice to have a little archive of them to go back and look at the world. Worlds as they have been developed. Overlord Mervin says, with Credo still being cancer and the new claim system, I might see you guys in World 13. Well, that's entirely up to you. And I mean, the changelog is preliminary, so if there's significant enough outrage, we can always consider changing them.
Mm-hmm.
So, or suggest good changes. Like, what changes would you like to see? Do you have any data to tell us on how many trolls were killed and so on? Not really.
I think I could tell how many trolls were killed.
Find out how many trolls were killed. Summon troll now. Summon troll now.
It's just going to take a bit of...
Like an MK trolls, right?
Yes, and I think you should do so at a higher level. which is given with some kind of argument, namely level quite simply. MK Obtrol level 5. A level with ease. And space, indeed.
Like so?
Yes, or level 9.
Ooh. There you go. You got a troll, boys. Take care of it. Feel free to enjoy the troll. That got them going.
Just one.
I wonder if they can pick it up.
I should hope so, to be honest.
Alright. Boom! This has been a fun stream. I'm super.
We haven't revealed the number of trolls.
Oh, how many trolls?
905.
905 trolls have been killed. And soon it shall be 906, I suppose. Here we go. It goes that. 906 trolls have been killed. Spawn 5 of them.
And you could have at least one level 9.
See if you can do another one. Can you do another one, boys? Can you handle the power of that troll? Ah, can you handle it? Okay. We're gonna log off. You enjoy the troll. Good luck with that. Alright, boom. Thanks a lot, guys. Fun stream. Super pumped. Push all your comments to the relevant threads.
And see you all in the next world.
See you all in the next world. 6th of March. 6th of March. 2000 hours, right?
The UTC, that is.
UTC. So that's when we'll be looking to launch them. So in about 2 weeks. So if there are any changes you want, then feel free to let us know. Or if there's something you hate, feel free to let us know that as well. But be generous. Thank you so much. Stay safe, in game, out of game. We love you all, and we hope that you are as excited as we are for the new world. So yeah, pretty excited to be bringing it to you.
Indeed.
Before too long. Signing off, this is Jorb and Loftar, the dynamic development duo, and yeah, have a good night, guys. Take care.